Greetings and welcome to Youth Perspective, an interactive show where we speak to the youth about some of the challenges they are facing, and we also speak to the generation that came before them to find out how they can assist in the transition. Today, we are discussing new forms of protest, in particularly women who strip themselves to protest for what they believe in. We are also talking to the young generation and the youth of this country to find out what they think. We have a panel in studio who will definitely be assisting with this conversation. I'm just going to ask my panel to introduce themselves.
Yeah, what's up, everyone? My name is Gigi Lamaine. I'm a female hip-hop artist, and overall entertainer.
Dumelang, I am Tumi from the gang, otherwise known as Tumi Masemola. I am a recording artist. I am also a businesswoman.
Hi, I'm Jessica Madisha. I'm a makeup artist and a netball player.
Hello, I am Ziggy Mkhize. I'm a social entrepreneur, former Miss South Africa Second Princess for 2015, and an overall female activist.
Yes. We have a very dynamic panel right here in studio. We are also joined by a live studio audience who will definitely be joining in on the conversation as well. Welcome to our audience. So just to start with you, Gigi, we have seen an increase in women protests, marches, and them basically saying enough is enough with the scourge of domestic violence and gender-based violence against women and children. Your sense around these protests?
You know, I'm very much for it. It's super weird because just a few days ago I dropped a video which really, you know, encompasses that. I'm acting in it, yes, do me. And you know, it's just touching on the fact that, you know, nowadays it goes beyond the physical, it goes, you know, into the psychological, it goes into the mental. And I think we as people who are in the limelight have an obligation to, you know, create awareness around these issues. You know, I'm a child who grew up within domestic violence. I turned out awesome, I'd like to believe. But I do think that it's super important for people of influence to go out and speak about these things.
I think you touched on a very important aspect of it, that what's the psychological understanding of belief in it? People might say, what message are you trying to send out with stripping yourself for a cause that some perceive as it's caused by your body? So now you're actually taking out your body.
I believe that it's a shock factor that we or those who are participating in these naked protests are trying to get through, that I am more than my body, so get over it. Here it is. It's boobs and tits and ass. Really, actually, I am a person behind this meat suit. And I completely understand that psyche, because at the end of the day, I think we place so much importance for it. Or appearing, because you appear miniskirt, it means you're asking for it. Or because you behave in a certain way, you're asking for it. A lot of the time, I believe that young girls are just trying to mimic or imitate what they see on television because it's cool, you know. Their idols are on stage in bum shorts and panties. So they're in the streets in bum shorts and panties. It is not necessarily to say, or abuse, you know. Body yaka ki body yaka. And at the end of the day, if my parents or my circle or my community is okay with me being the way that I am, let me, you know, and
And then I think, Jessica, to rope you into the conversation, what do you think the youth takes out of things like naked protests and stripping yourself for a cause?
I think, like Tumi said, they see it in the media, they see it on television, they see it everywhere. So it influences them that that's the dress code I want to wear. But then wearing like that in the streets, I don't think it's appropriate for the streets, because now you come across a lot of men, a lot of boys. So I think you get so many inappropriate comments on your body and all of that. So, yes, again, as for the youth, dressing like that is how they get comfortable. It's the comfortability in that outfit and those short mini skirts and everything. But then it also has an impact to the men that are looking at it, the girl in the skirts and all of that. So I believe it's inappropriate to dress like that on the streets and protest like that. What are you protesting about naked? What are you trying to solve naked?
You know what I would say is I think we really need to consider how we've been socialized, right? So you have a lot of people that say, oh, it's not our culture to do 1, 2, 3. But if you look at most African cultures, women are barely dressed, you know? And only now, I think it's everybody who feels like they own the female body, except for women who have to sort of fit into the gap that everybody else provides them in terms of how they choose to conduct themselves or how they dress. Yes, dressing like the people you see on TV is not an invitation to get raped, right? And there is a shock factor in the naked protest. And on the other hand, it's also to say that, but if that's how somebody chooses to dress, we as a society should not say, oh, young girl, you're wrong for dressing like that. We should look at why society has set up parameters that are so focused on you being dressed like that is a problem for everybody else, instead of saying, why can't we create a space where you can dress like that and we can just look at you and go, oh, you look pretty, nice outfit, cute shorts, instead of
And another thing that I think tends to be a problem, it's that aspect of blame game. Why were you dressed like that? Do you think that you're sexier if you're wearing something shorter? And for me, I just find that it always tends to be a blame game for the woman. And men always just want to stand there and almost reason as to why they're acting that way.
Yeah.
You know, culture is something that should evolve with us. You know, whatever norms or beliefs or laws that someone somewhere made up 20, 50, 100 years ago, and we are not evolving with who we are becoming. And at the end of the day, we need to realize, I am not responsible for your reaction. You know, I'm only responsible for me and my actions. So at the end of the day, if I'm having a protest to shock you with my naked body, to say I am more than just my body, I am a psyche within, I believe that men need to join us in this protest, because at the end of the day, re basadi ba bona, re bana ba bona, re bomme ba bona, and they too need to protect us. And we as women need to realize the message that you're sending out there. When you do choose to wear that bum short, yes, you're going to attract attention. Yes, people are going to say you're sexy or give those remarks. You are then responsible for your action thereafter. You know, if you're going to tell somebody, "We tore ka respect and we tore gantle, o tsamaya ka bikini ko beaching," it's okay. But if Luena, you are flaunting around your body with whatever thong that you're wearing and enticing that kind of sexiness or that kind of behavior out of a man, then again, that is your choice. So I think we need to have a conversation together. It's just unfortunate because it's Women's Month, reduce it as basadi, and we get to have all the say. We need to have a conversation together to find a middle point of what's going to work for both of us, because we're both in this world together.
And just to add on to that, I mean, we've had, you know, iconic individuals in the past year who've come out. You know, people like your Cardi B's, who were previously strippers. And I mean, within the world I live in as a hip-hop artist, I think the biggest thing is we choose not to judge but to understand. And for me, already, you know, being put in that space, I don't know if it's really desensitizing our audience towards some of these things, but it's also choosing to convey a message for people to understand that we can coexist, you doing what you're doing, me doing what I'm doing, and finding power within that. Believe it or not, in the hip-hop community, strippers are really respected because we look at her being a mom, we look at her being a sister, we look at her, you know, somebody like Cardi B who will come out and say, yes, this is what I was and this is what I've become. And there's a strength in that, being able to transcend into the person that she is now. So I think, I don't know, it's a dicey thing, eh? Like it's very complicated, and I think, you know, as the hip hop community, I think we almost have an obligation to shed light on some of these things. I think it's very, I mean, it is a Western movement.
Yeah.
We do live in South Africa, and I think that's why it's so complicated for us to be able
I
to
think
find
that's what
midground.
Dumi's trying to say with evolving with culture and us. It's suiting us at this current space as to what we are going into.
Yeah.
So another thing, I think for you, Nziki, appearances with society, with the workspace.
Yeah.
You strip yourself, you protest naked. On Monday, you put on a suit.
And you go to work.
Yeah.
It's like, hey girl, how you doing? I don't know what your kids look like. Look, that is a difficult thing, right? And just to add on to Gigi's point, I think it's more around the dialogue that we create around being a woman and what being a woman is. And too long, that dialogue has been dictated by men, right? So the slightest thing that women do all of a sudden seems like, oh my goodness, you know? So a naked protest is like, how dare you? But Hustle magazine and whatever else they decide to put on the shelves of half-naked women, it's okay, you know?
Yeah.
The issues around raising awareness against people who are burn victims posing naked, that's like, oh, the naked issue, that's nice. But if you all of a sudden have a strong point to make around rape, around domestic violence, or any other kind of abuse naked, all of a sudden people are like, we don't know about that. So it's almost like people are saying there's spaces to be naked and there's spaces to not be, right? And somehow I'm judging or respecting you in the office on Monday morning based on your nudity. So you can, on Friday, drink at the office party or whatever it is, dance on the table, kiss whoever, and it's like, oh girl, Friday was wild. But if I see you protesting over the weekend, there's all of a sudden a problem. And for me, that just really says that there's an issue with our psychology as a country and as a people, you know, and everybody needs to sort of have their say in what the new culture we're building is, but women need to have a stronger voice, and men need to be okay with what that voice is. So just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not okay. It just means you no longer have the power.
I love it.
Do you have anybody from the audience who'd like to weigh in on the conversation?
Okay, my name is Christopher. I'm from Midrand. I would say protesting on the streets naked, for me, I don't see it appropriate, especially when you're trying to convey a message. I'm going to go back to the basics, whereby we used to have Abu Mam Charlotte Magege, Lillian Ngoyi, Helen Suzman. Those people did protest. What they did, and their voices were heard, because what they did, the message that they were conveying, it was important. It was to protect women. So, as a woman and as a gentleman, for me to respect you, yes, I can respect you wearing anything, but for you to be on the streets naked and me passing by, thinking that that's a woman, and looking at the woman, everything, it's out there. I don't see that. Okay, yes, I'm gonna respect you as a human being, but you understand the message you're trying to do. It's important. I think this thing to protest. What I'm gonna say is, hold the placard. Stop rape. Stop abusing us. Yes, it's fine, but for you to be going out there naked, saying stop raping us and showing all of that, I mean, I see it inappropriate.
Okay. Do you have anybody else?
Hello, my name is Margaret. I'm from Alex. I have to agree to disagree to what he's saying. Of course, yes, being naked in front of a big crowd is a big issue, but what do they expect us to do as women? If we don't show them, then what, like, if we don't show them what they want to see, then they're still gonna do it again. So rather show them, let them see, and then maybe they'll be satisfied afterwards. And then again, we can protest with his boards and stuff like that. But how many times have people been doing it? How long has it been? So how about if I show you my boobs, or if I show you my bums, or whatsoever? Will that not work? Because of course, in the media industry, like Gigi Lamin just said, nudity sells. So how about we do nudity in a protest and see if it won't work?
Yes.
My point.
Okay. We have a gentleman right there.
My version of this is simple. I would say the ladies need to be free. Can I speak my African language? Yeah. Abusisi, ababe right. Basihlonipha already. Yibo abantu abasilethela impilo ukuthi ngibela namhlanje. It's because of a women. Yabo. So many things engizama ukisho ukuthi abusisi abafeel free on what they want to do, and ama-gents, please do not ngihade nibheke in. We need to protect our ladies because yibo abomama balesizwe lesi. Yeah, that's
Thank you.
why.
And I think this goes back to what Ntiki was saying, Margaret's point that if I show you, are you satisfied? Are you fine now? You know?
Look, I would say the action fits the crime, you know? So if it was a school education kind of protest, the action would be different. If it was something else, the action would be different. But because it's around female abuse in terms of rape and domestic violence, the action sort of fits the crime. It's unfortunate that the country goes up in arms if the rand falls, right? And if somebody gets hit, it's like, oh, well, another day in South Africa, you know what I mean? So as a collective, men just need to also be more angered by it, you know? So the fact that you see a naked woman in the street protesting, for you, that should be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it has come to this.
Yes.
And this thing stops today, you know?
Yes.
And that should be the result of the shock value, not to say, hi, Mara, now I feel like, what's the you know what I mean? So, and there's good arguments on both sides of the table, right?
Yeah.
But remember, the woman who's on the street naked protesting for a particular cause, it's her body, it's her decision, and she has the right to make that decision.
At the end of the day, we're desperate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We are desperate.
We reached that point.
Exactly.
We are, nothing else is helping this
Of
conversation.
course.
Like,
How many deaths have there been?
Yeah.
At the hands of men? How many divorces have there been? How many broken families? How much abuse are we going to stand for? And then when we sit around and instead of addressing how we're going to solve and make our country better, we're sitting around and talking about, hey, ba inappropriate, ba naked. Like,
Move on. We have a bigger
exactly.
problem here.
The problem here is how does the country move on and be successful and be when more than half of its population is under attack?
Yeah.
You know, it takes men and women to make this country great.
Yeah, but I think if the reason why they're doing it was seeing you naked or seeing you in short stuff, then why, when you protest with those short stuff and naked, you think they're going to make a difference, there's going to be a change when you...
But maybe it's a point that Margaret is bringing up that right now I'm dressed, I'm fully dressed, and you're looking at me wondering, okay, what's under there? You know, if I show you, are you satisfied? Or sharp, can we move on now?
Within the context of our pop culture, right, there is a level that glorifies or desensitizes people towards nudity
definitely,
or girls
definitely.
being scantily clad and so forth. And that's a conversation I think needs to be had with the rap community, the pop culture community, to say, look, what does a wonderful, powerful woman look like clothed, you know? Even to all rap stars, to say, hey, your next music video, can you have some dressed woman on there and let it be a bomb song and a bomb music video? Contrast to that, there is also the conversation to say that a girl who's doing a naked protest, for example, could dress everything covered Monday to Friday, you know?
Yeah.
And as a reaction to say, this is our voice. This is the problem.
Yeah.
And in this problem, this is my response. And this is how extreme it is that you've now caused me to be naked in the street with words on my body so you can really get how intense this is. The shock value of that is to say, this is how far it's gone. But not to say, okay, here I am naked, let's do some more of it, you know? And it should be... Our society should be embarrassed.
Yeah,
They should be
definitely.
embarrassed that women have been pulled to that point.
But
right?
another issue for me, right? I tend to shy away from blaming pop culture and because you see it in a music video, you think you're going to do it in a mall.
But that's the psychology.
No,
it's the psychology,
but then why
it's the marketing,
is it that
it's
when
the
you see a
communication.
lawyer dressed in a double-pressed suit, why was a double-pressed suit?
Because ain't nobody trying to be a lawyer. No. You know?
Everything.
We should stop blaming. I get that there is a sense of what you see, you want to impersonate.
Yeah.
I get that sense of it. But as well, there's different looks for different things.
I'm gonna agree with you, Mas Chaba. Okay, so I'm now busy learning and studying the Rastafari culture. And that culture is all about dressing up, like head to toe, kiri duku, kiri ing. And I had a phase in my life, ke le mopostola, ke apara like duku le seaparo and what ke fella, you know. And I used to look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I look like and this is not 2018 stuff. And how's my brand going to survive this? Are people still going to buy into me and buy into my music and think of me as sensual and as a woman, and what? And at the end of the day, it is what you carry inside. And this is a protest. It is not an everyday lifestyle thing. Those who choose to have it as an everyday lifestyle thing, it is the culture that they are buying into or the culture that they are growing up with that we as a community have created.
Yeah.
You know,
also
we allow it.
And stop judging.
Our buyers go and buy it. Go kai kai, buy roke, buy kenya kamo shopong, buy rekise, buy advertiser, reke. Wa utlwisisa. Arang ka di jeans tsa rona ra ikhathela ra re, okay, now we're gonna be bum short generation.
Yeah.
It's something that is. It has come with time,
a long way.
And it comes with pop culture, comes with media, comes with our society. So we as a society need to take the responsibility to say, if we do choose not to tolerate nakedness, and if we believe nakedness is the problem, then it's deeper than media and a conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a re qale ko dishopong ge wa re etsetsa bana ba na leng 3 bum shot
Yeah.
wa re ba etsetsa bra
100%.
So, Gigi, in your... Yeah,
You know
you
what?
wanted to
I
add?
just don't even. I think we should be discussing the source of the issue. Like, you have a problem, live your life. Let me live mine. You know, I think something very important that Tepo Mokoena, the late uncle of Karabo Mokoena, says that, like, I think it's so important to go to the source. The men are boys. Before we start blaming ourselves for what we're wearing and judging one another as women. I think, for me, that's the biggest thing. Like.
But did we not
And
raise
just
them?
to...
I think we did, and that's the problem. Where are we going wrong? Exactly, I totally agree with you. Did
And
we
that's
not
another
raise
thing,
them?
just to get in there, and I think I want your sense with this topic. I was saying that how many marches are we going to have? How many memorandums are we going to hand into the Department of Women, the president, you know? What do we then do as a solution that is instant to say life orientation at school?
Yeah.
What are we teaching our young boys? What are we teaching our young girls? There's a sense, if he's mean, he likes you. You know? So,
The lies.
I think,
How trapa ora.
yeah, different conversations. And I think Gigi's touching on it now, that let's talk to our young boys.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
definitely do need to.
Definitely. And I also just think, like, laws need to become far much more stringent than they are now. People just... The Kenzani issue bothers me so much because there isn't anything tangible that the court of law can use to incriminate the individual who is, you know, part of that. There has to be a way for us to protect beyond what is happening now. I just feel like people just get off so easily with a lot of things. I mean, you know, sometimes even when you're driving in your car, you're walking past, and then unabafana vele, hey.
Yeah.
And then you don't respond. Hi, velu movie. Like,
What's wrong with
I don't
you?
feel like responding to you. And
I don't know
quite
you.
frankly, you're being disrespectful, because if this was happening to your little sister or your mother back in time, you'd have an issue with it. But because it's somebody you don't know, you feel like it's appropriate.
It's okay.
And I think that's the problem. We need to go back to our boys. The source is our boys. The answer to this thing is in the patriarchy that was created. And for some reason, there are double standards even when boys and girls are raised. You know, girls are always told to cover up, do this, do that. What are boys being taught? To respect their women. And that's how I feel.
Deep. Do you have anybody from the audience who'd like to weigh in on the conversation?
I just want to say I support the women's protest. Yeah, there's so many ways that we can show people this is alive. We've got social media, artists of South Africa like Gigi Lamaine. They can sing about it and show people this thing is not good. Yeah, thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Lucy. I'm from Alex. Nakinahana hore. My body is mine, and I can own hore. Kitsamaya ka painty, that's none of your business. Because I love the way I dress, and you don't have to judge me.
Thank you. All right, just to come back to the panel, closing remarks regarding this topic, regarding gender-based violence, regarding how do we stop the scourge, how do we protect our young girls, how do we protect our women, and more so, how do we have this conversation with men without offending them, wanting them to fully come on board. This phrase, men are trash, it's an issue, because why does a man who's not trash have to spend time in defending himself? Because it's a dicey thing, because we say men are trash. There are men that are not trash. Trash in that sense of the hashtag, obviously. So how do we have these conversations with men, with women, with young boys, with young girls, to get to a point where we understand the source, like Gigi mentioned, and we move into a free and safe South Africa. Gigi, going down the line, closing remarks.
Once again, as the lady said over there, it is my body, I have a right to do whatever I want to do with it. I still believe we need to go back to the source. We need to go back to the point where young boys are taught about how to respect women. And culture of, just blaming the matriarchy frustrates me so much. It's such an issue. It's so difficult because South Africa is such a mix of everything, of culture, of religion. But I think it all boils down to agency. I think once we exercise our agency and, certain restrictive laws come into place that are far much more stringent than they are, I think then we'll start finding that there's a difference. I think that's the only way for me.
To me?
Look, we can exercise our freedom to be naked. It is our right, yes. However, there is that old saying, which is true, that first impressions last, or you are what you dress, or you are what you wear, or what I see is what I get. You know what I mean? So it is quite impossible for me, even as a woman, to see another woman apering 6 centimeter dress and not think, or ratamonati, lintosa thing. Because that's the way you choose to look. So the way you look and the way you present yourself is the way that I'm going to receive you. And, walking here today and choosing to wear a suit to come to this interview is because I want to, entice out of an audience some sort of respect and some sort of superiority. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So at the end of the day, I like to urge all the women to say, yes, it is your body. Yes, you can do whatever you want and you can dress however you like. But do realize that if I'm a man, I'm not a man, but if I was a man and I looked at you in your panty, I'm going to think that you want some of that. You know what I mean? And if that's not what you want to send out, then wear something else. You know what I mean?
But I think we should start with the media. The media plays a huge role. So if we want everybody knowing that this is an issue that we have to look at, then the media has to be the one that we start at. That the media, this is how we start dressing. If we could just have a picture of someone dressed in shorts and put like long dresses. But I think you dress to how comfortable you want to feel. So I wouldn't want to dress in something that doesn't make me feel comfortable.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Look, if you are not trash, you should not be offended. I would start with that. And so the hashtag men are trash is applicable to he who is trash. If you are not, Jita, don't be offended, right? Because I really do feel that women have spent all our lives defending, even things that we don't need to defend. So one is men need to come to the table regardless of what the offense is, because you're needed in this conversation. And all of us need to come to the party, men and women. Boys' clubs must fall. We're constantly trying to build ourselves in this culture that's dominated by boys' clubs, whether it's whistling at girls or going... there's certain conversations, it's fine as the gents, but if it's towards a woman I know and love, it's a problem.
Then we have an issue.
It's an issue all across the board, And as a society, this is a society problem. It's not a woman issue. It's not a children issue. It's not an abuse relationship issue. It's a society issue.
Definitely.
And we as a society, as South Africa, as Africans, need to come to the party and solve it from the media perspective, from the culture perspective, from the corporate perspective, and from how we raise our kids' perspective as well.
Law and education as well.
Education,
New forms of protest have definitely taken over the country, with women making a stern message about how they feel and how they want their bodies to be treated. Definitely respect should be given to those women and no judgment should come upon them. This has been yet another insightful episode of Youth Perspective from myself and the team behind the scenes. Thank you for watching and see you next time.